Disclaimer, a very big warning. Please do not apply to jobs from these Facebook groups. Be very careful. Do not pay any deposits before you get here. Do not pay any deposits before you get here. When you are being interviewed and the recruiters are telling you all this nice and wonderful things, pray about discernment and learn to listen to your intuition, your gut. Okay, that will help you avoid a lot of problems. Sawadiha. Hello everyone. Are you looking to teach in Thailand in the next academic year? I say start the process now. Do not wait any longer. If you're interested in my FAQs, keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your girl, Fran Mguni. I hope everyone is good. And today I am going to be doing an FAQ on the most asked questions about teaching in Thailand. Stay tuned if you're interested in finding out more. And the first frequently asked question is, what are the minimum requirements for teaching in Thailand? It is a degree in any field or an advanced diploma. Some schools accept an advanced diploma, but the ministry actually requires a degree. So you need to be from one of the 7 native English countries. You need a bachelor's degree in any field, and some schools prefer native English speakers, but other schools also accept near native English speakers. So these are people from countries like Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, all countries within Africa, and the Philippines, and probably the Netherlands as well. Some companies want you to do your TEFL, others don't really care. When I say companies, I mean schools. They are companies after all. What is the average salary of a teacher in Thailand? This ranges, okay, according to your school and according to whether your school is a private school, a public school, or an international school. So we are looking at anything from 35,000 baht to all the way to 120, depending on your qualification. I know of a South African who was earning 160,000 baht because she had a master's in education. So it depends on your qualification, your experience, and your passport. Unfortunately, the painful truth is as well, it also depends on the color of your skin. Do you need a work permit? Yes, you do need a work permit to work legally. Although some schools do tell you to come over and then they switch once you're here, technically that is not legal to do. So good luck with that. What are the typical working hours? So between 7:30 and 4:30 for some companies. My school specifically, it's 7:30. You have to be at school. School technically starts at 8. So it's 8 to 4 for the foreign teachers. When is the best time to apply for work? To be fair, people are in and out of Thailand. It's one of those countries where people are in and out or switching between schools. And the best time to start applying is right now. The best time to start applying is right now because the schools are closing and they're going to start looking for teachers. So if some people are not renewing their contracts, they have an opportunity to start interviewing and looking for teachers. So right now is the best time to start. Any time is the best time because you never know when it's your lucky day. So don't only rely on it being recruitment season, try your luck. I sent my CV through, it was like towards the end of the year and I got the position. So it doesn't really matter. But the peak, so there's 2 semesters. And Thai schools, let me read what this researcher said. Thai schools typically have 2 semesters and it's November for semester 2 and May for semester 1. So The peak hiring season is usually between March and April because schools are closing and then the holidays and then the new academic year, like I said. Is the background check necessary? Yes, the ministry needs to know your background check. Although some people tell us that they never had to do it. I mean, that is all their situation, but the ministry requires for you to do a background check that you do when you're here. So once, excuse me, once you're here, you do your background check. It's not one of those countries where you necessarily have to do your background check before you come into the country. They do their own background checks through the embassies, I guess, but they use the local police. Can non-native speakers teach? Yes, like I previously said, it's near-native or non-native speakers. They can teach here in Thailand, and usually their salary is less, but depending on your qualification and also your experience, you could negotiate. What is the cost of living compared to the salary? So what is the cost of living compared to the salary? Let's say maybe your salary is 70,000. Your cost of living would be, depending on your rental. It all depends on your rental because that's not part of the benefits in most schools. So from your rental, it could range from anything from 11,000 baht in terms of rental all the way up to 22. It all depends on what you want to spend and how much you're willing to spend. Some people want more amenities. Some people want more space. You know, I know somebody who is renting a 2-bedroom condo for like 30K. And those are people that are earning maybe in the 120s. So it all depends on how much you are getting and how much you want to budget. But roughly, let's say, in baht, let's say your rent is 17,000 plus your utilities, round that up to 20, plus transport if you use transport. For myself, we have a school van, so no transport for me. And then groceries could range from 2,000 all the way up to 5, also depending on where you buy, what you spend. So I think the best thing would be to, if you're deciding on or trying to decide on moving to a country, any country or here, is to look at the stores, look at what you typically eat, draw a grocery list or write a grocery list, and then try and estimate according to what the stores have on their websites how much you typically be spending a month on groceries. And then rentals, you can also look online and look at, like, that's what I did. I looked at how much apartments are going for, the 1 bedrooms, the bachelors, and stuff like that. So that would help you greatly in making your decision as to if it's going to be affordable versus the salary for you. It's all dependent on you. So I cannot tell you that you're not going to afford or you're going to afford. I know people who are earning 35 and they are living a very comfortable life. So it all depends on how much you want to spend, what your priorities are back home, what your responsibilities are. We're not the same. What is the Thai classroom like, or the Thai school? So I work at a school that is an English program, which is not an international school and not a local school. So it's specifically a language school. We do have teachers teaching other subjects, but they teach them in English. Whereas in Thai schools, maybe you find that science is taught in Thai and then only English teachers or foreign teachers are used as English teachers, right? So with us, we have other foreign teachers who are homeroom teachers as well. So that's the difference. And the school setting is very relaxed. One thing about Thailand, they live off the word sabai sabai, which is just like, let's chill, it's relaxed, poli way, you know. It's not as strict as maybe other countries in terms of like the workflow. Although people who are at international schools say it's a bit hectic, in terms of like turnaround time, workload, expectations, observations and stuff. But for us, let's say, for an example, our day for the average teacher, not myself, for the average foreign teacher, they would teach maybe 3 lessons a day. Whereas with me, on average, I teach 6 because I do like three from each class, okay, if not more. And then you get lunchtime around 11, 12, depending on the level you teach. I teach lower level, so we have lunch earlier because it's little babies. So I would typically, when I come in at work, we clock in, and then once we've clocked in, you go to your office. You can either go downstairs, socialize, or whatever. We usually just go get a coffee at the cafe. We have a cafe downstairs. Go up to the office, powder up, freshen up, have a coffee or something to eat, depending on your vibe. And then go down to assembly until like 8:10 or 8:05 in the morning. After assembly, we have assembly every day, by the way. So after assembly, then we go up. I don't teach the first lesson. I teach the second lesson. So there's like a registration period lesson where I don't know what they teach, honestly, but I think it's just like Thai related. And then at 9 o'clock, I start my day officially. So prior to that, I'm printing, preparing, figuring out what I'm going to do for the day if I didn't the previous day for whatever reason. And then I go into class. I teach the first lesson, the second lesson, and sometimes the third lesson. Then it's lunchtime. Other times I teach one lesson and then go to the other class and then there's a break. But other days I'm just teaching 6 lessons straight. So, during the day. So then it's lunchtime. Then the kids go for a nap since I am teaching kindergarten. The kids go for an hour nap. So between 11 maybe 40 and 1 o'clock they wake up. Okay, so between those times is their sleep time. They wake up at 1. And then at 1 I go teach if I have a class, or I have a class after lunchtime. So I go teach maybe 1 class and then a break, or I teach 3 straight classes, or I teach 2 and then there's another class or something like that. And then depending on the day, Mondays and Wednesdays, I have after school classes, which is like remedial. So it's like maybe 4 students in each class, but KG1, it's like all of them, maybe 7 out of 8 students, for an example. And then in KG3, it's 4 out of 6. So I have those classes teaching English and maths, helping them like improve understanding, challenging them, getting their brains to think outside the box a bit. And then 4 o'clock it's home time. On other days after my last lesson, which is usually at 3:10, I go back to the office, relax, and do whatever I have to do that's admin. I honestly don't get a lot of admin time because I teach so much, and the only time typically that I have for admin is the morning session, which is like 30 minutes, and the lunchtime, which is me wanting my own time to breathe because I'm usually very overstimulated at that time. By the time lunchtime hits, you are crashing, you know what I mean? So I'm usually very overstimulated and I want nothing to do with thinking about teaching at that point until maybe 1:45. Then I'm thinking, if I don't know what I'm doing next, then I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. But since we do have books and we have resources, there's no excuse for me not to know what's next. So I usually plan out my like week ahead. Okay. So that's typically what the day looks like for the typical foreign teacher at a Thai school. Other teachers, I cannot speak for other teachers, but I know other teachers generally teach 3 lessons a day in total in the 8 hours, because their lessons are 1 hour long, whereas mine is 45 minutes, but that's not here nor there. The curriculum for me, I'm flexible, right? I generally know the levels and what kids should be learning at each level because I've been to school as well. So that's based off my knowledge, and also that's based off the knowledge of teaching as what is it? Teaching as a profession, because of what I studied being teaching. So I know what is expected of a teacher at maybe nursery level, kindergarten level, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 up. Okay. But each school generally has their own curriculum. So it's very important to know the curriculum of the school and try and find that out. I think knowing the curriculum of the school will give you a very good idea about the condition of the school. So if a school does not have a set curriculum, that should be a red flag for you. Whereas if there is a curriculum, then finding resources is not as difficult. Whereas in some cases, there is no structure within the academic department. Therefore, there's no curriculum, which then makes it the pits for you because you have to basically suck it out of your thumb and base it off whichever curriculum you choose. So if a school does the whole Cambridge, then it makes it easy for you to know what the standards and what are the indicators of Cambridge. And then I think in most cases, that's why it's difficult for a professionally trained teacher to adjust to schools, maybe in some settings where the schools are a bit dysfunctional. It can prove tricky and difficult, whereas with international schools, if you are professionally trained to be a teacher, it's more structured and you'll know what is expected of you. So what would my advice be to anyone wanting to teach in Thailand? If you are a professional teacher, try your best to get into a reputable school, and also try your best to get into an international school. If it's your first time maybe working in Thailand, try an English program school, and read the reviews about the settings. There's many resources. There's Glassdoor, there's reviews on Google, there's social media, that could possibly give you some feedback on any types of questions you may want to ask. And then if you are not a professionally trained teacher, I'd say just be flexible because things change a lot. One thing about Thailand and socially how it is, things change a lot very fast, abruptly. So sometimes there's events that happen like for certain holidays, and you would maybe plan out your teaching cycle in 2-week cycles, maybe per se, for each unit. And you find that sometimes in the middle of that cycle, when you think maybe you're going to do a summative assessment, like a test, now we can't do a test because there's a particular holiday or particular activity or church thing or a government holiday or a religious holiday. So bear in mind, be as flexible as possible. Just go with the flow, but always know that submissions are submissions. So have that at the back of your mind. I would say always try to be 1 week ahead of your schedule in terms of teaching. So if this week you are going to teach maybe Jolly Phonics 1, for an example, make sure that you squeeze in an extra batch of Jolly Phonics. Maybe you start introducing Jolly Phonics 2 into your teaching. And another thing for those that are going to be teaching the lower levels, please implement Jolly Phonics into your teaching because that's going to help the child develop the skill to read with understanding and confidence in enunciation and in speaking. So what I've noticed is when I came, they were not introduced to Jolly Phonics in my block. I'll just say that. And it proved difficult because I had to start from the beginning. So I'd say teach like these kids have never learned before, and teach like this is your last time you are teaching these students. That way you do your best and they learn very fast. So there's a lot of students that didn't know how to read, that didn't know how to speak. And now that they're moving into year one, they're so confident in their speech and they can read very well. So even if we're not reading every day and there's no there is library, but it's not as structured as what it is back home, for an example, where we have set books that we start reading from, like maybe kindergarten, you start reading those level 1 books. It's not the same. So just focus a lot on Jolly Phonics, and it will help the children be confident and also have the confidence to be able to read and write and spell on their own. Like my kids can now write 4 to 6 letter words on their own with no problem. So my experience has been quite an interesting one, and we cannot base our experiences on anybody else's but our own. So what I'm going to say to you is good luck and keep sending those applications. Do not be afraid to take the big step. It is a big one, but you can do it, and you've gotten so far and you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. So always keep in mind that you have to be careful with the email addresses that you're getting your responses from to avoid being scammed, because scams are real everywhere, not just in South Africa. Please be careful. Good luck.